Okay, so the holidays are right around the corner. Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, it's all around the corner. And if you're wondering, like me, what to get for the person who's got it all, like Squeeze, I don't know what to get him. I've got the solution for you. The New York City Taxi Driver's Calendar. With us today is Phil and Shannon Kirkman, the creators of the New York City Taxi Driver's Calendar. Phil and Shannon, welcome to the Brad and Squeeze Show. And I have a question for you because it's such a unique thing that you've done. How did you come up with the concept for a calendar with New York City taxi drivers?
Sure, yeah. So the original idea was conceived back in like 2012. We did a calendar of my oldest brother as a gag gift for my sister-in-law for Christmas. So it was well received by family and friends, and we then I actually recently left my career in finance and was thinking of ways to broaden some of my creative projects. So we took the calendar. We thought, well, how can we broaden that? We landed on the iconic taxi driver of New York.
So you just made a calendar online like everybody else does on one of these apps or websites, and the family calendar. You sent it out, and then you decided to broaden it and say, what kind of calendar can we make? Do you have any experience in the taxi industry? How'd you come up with taxi drivers?
No experience.
We kind of threw around, when you think about New York City and you think about imagery in New York City, yellow cabs are so iconic, right? I mean, you see the big red apple, you see Empire State Building, and then you see yellow cabs. So pretty much everybody who's ever lived here or visited New York City has had some sort of experience with a taxi driver, right? So we felt like that was a really great group of people who are largely underappreciated, and you never really get to hear their stories. So we wanted to feature them.
And they certainly are underappreciated. How did you find taxi drivers to model for you? How'd you convince them to model for you? How'd you do all this? Did you just start driving in a taxi and say, hey, I'm doing a calendar, you want to take a picture with me?
Well, it's definitely gotten easier over time. When we first started, we actually put an ad online and received responses that way, then had to sort of pitch the calendar each time to each driver to make sure that they were comfortable with it. And we still go through that process, but we now receive a lot of our drivers as referrals from past drivers / models. And then we kind of go from there. So they know what they're getting into, through their other friends that have posed.
Now we're looking at these pictures of the taxi drivers as we're having this conversation, and it strikes me that a lot are minorities. I know that for a fact because I drive in taxis a lot as a passenger. Do you know what kind of percentage that the New York City taxi driver? What kind of percentage are immigrants to the United States of America?
Yeah, we originally didn't know when we got started with the project, and as it turned out, the first year we shot the calendar, 100% of our driver models were immigrants. So we started doing research and realized 96% of the taxi drivers in New York City are immigrants. And so naturally, we knew we wanted to have a charity element to the calendar, so we actually partnered with an organization that provides basic services for immigrant and working families. They're called the University Settlement. They're a really amazing organization. So that was really a good fit for us because we wanted something that was relevant to the people who were starring in the calendar.
And what does University Settlement do to help immigrants or minorities? What do they do?
They provide really awesome programs. It's a broad range of programs, from English as a second language programs to assistance in finding housing, early childhood and senior programs. So they provide some awesome services.
And what percentage of the proceeds from this calendar go to the University Settlement programs?
It's right around 20% of the calendar. To date, we've actually been able to donate over $60,000.
Wow, that's amazing.
So we're really proud of that.
Wow, that's amazing. And so basically your calendar is New York City taxi drivers, 96% who are immigrants. 20% of the proceeds of this calendar go to an organization that helps immigrants. How has this affected you and changed your life? How I mean, I assume you did not live the immigrant experience, but now you are experiencing people who have. Tell me how that's affected you.
Well, we've definitely become more socially conscious. I mean, it's hard not to, number one, living in the city since it's so diverse. But over time, we've definitely become more socially conscious, and especially in the current divisive and nonsensical environment, it feels rather pressing to sort of shine a positive light on these individuals that work so hard, not only to provide for themselves, but also for their families. And, they're also, they're a lot of the experiences that we've had have been awesome. And, they've been friendly and great. And they're no different than you and I.
Have you become close with any of the New York City taxi drivers, the models? Have you heard any of their immigrant stories? Do you want to share something about what you've learned about them with us, or maybe about your friendships that you've put together with them over the years?
Yeah, well, actually, you just showed a photo of Hassan with he was eating a slice of cake that had his face on it. We've developed a really amazing relationship with several of our drivers, and Hassan in particular. We surprised him with this cake for his birthday, and it was such a fun shoot. After doing that, he was so excited, and we were so excited. And we have a date to get Bangladeshi food with Hassan soon. We've really loved hearing everyone's stories. I mean, some of these drivers work 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, not only just to put food on their tables, but a lot of times to send money home to families back in their home countries. We had a driver a few years ago from Venezuela who has had trouble getting home to see his family because of the current political situation in Venezuela. And we've heard a lot of stories like that have been really compelling and just have opened our eyes and our hearts to everyone's stories and their lives.
Well, I think this is just such an amazing, unique idea, and it is so New York, and it really shows not only the immigrant experience, but what we're all about here, not just in New York, but in the United States, about embracing cultures, about embracing nationalities, about being multicultural here, both in the city and throughout the United States. And I commend you for this unique idea. I commend you for working on it year after year, and for also giving 20% back to the community in which the models come from, to help other immigrants. Where can we buy this? Because I want to buy one myself. Where can we buy this?
You can go to nyctaxicalendar.com. That's our website. The calendars cost $14.99, and we ship them and pack them right here in our apartment.
And what's the latest we can get it before Christmas?
I think their cutoff date around the 20th or 21st. I think is the safest date to get it before.
How many calendars do you expect to ship out this year?
That's always the guessing game.
Right.
I mean, last year we sold roughly like 5,000.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's shipped to all 50 states and over 30 countries.
And I just saw you featured in the New York Post. Congratulations. I just happened to be seeing that today and saw it. It's an amazing idea, great story, and thank you for joining us here on the Brad and Squee Show.